Hello, everyone. My name is Kristi Neuroth, and I teach high school in Brentwood, Tennessee, in the United States. And I've been asked by the lovely Yelena to answer a few questions for you. The first question she gave me was, what does your basic class look like? So I thought I would invite you here into my classroom so you could see what my physical classroom looks like. And then I'll talk a little bit about what does the day-to-day look like. I will say this year looks pretty different than what I've done in years past due to COVID, of course. But I can tell you a little bit about what I typically do and what I now do with the new challenges that we all face. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take you with me here as we take a little walk around my room. I do share my classroom with another teacher who has his desk right there. Sometimes we do end up having to share based on how full our classes are, and our school is growing, so we do share classrooms. I am actually in my classroom all day. You can see here as I pan around to my class, my students are grouped into groups of 4. I find that having them work together in groups works very well. They have team challenges together where they may tackle a particular problem, or they will work together on an assignment and compete against the other groups. For my motivated students, this seems to be a great way to get them to be more interested in the subject when they have to compete with another group, perhaps to solve some kind of problem. You can see behind me right there is where I have the cell phone holders. I don't use this all of the time, but I do find that technology can be very distracting. So I ask my students to put their cell phones there when they come into the classroom. If I orient over here, I'm actually going to take you to my front board, where I typically have the important information that students will need for that day. Here is where I am listing what students need to have in their digital binder. This year, my students are turning almost everything in online. We are almost entirely paperless because of COVID. I do have quite a few students who are either working remotely from home or maybe quarantined for a week or 2. I like to make sure that they always know when tests are due or major projects are due, so I include that in the front of the board as well. And I remind students on a frequent basis what kind of important things are coming up. This here refers to which learning objective we are working on for each day, so that students know the progression of the week and they know what to expect. So that's essentially the physical layout of my classroom. I'm going to sit back down here at my desk and talk a little bit about what my daily life in my classroom looks like. Generally, I have 7 different classes throughout the day. One of those classes will be a study hall, and one of those classes will be homeroom, where we simply give announcements, for instance. And the rest of my classes will be my academic classes. I teach geography and current issues. So I'll generally start the day by making sure my students know what is the learning objective for the day. What goal do I have for them? We then proceed to start with perhaps 10 minutes of instruction. I provide definitions or a brief lecture, followed by some kind of activity where the students are actively practicing with whatever concept we're discussing for that day. They may be working individually, or more commonly, they'll be working in their teams. Then at the end of the day, I find best practices to be for me to have some kind of review at the end, some kind of check for understanding, where they may practice with a question, a sample test question, or we'll do some kind of review that ties together the whole lesson so that I can see if the students understood what it was, understood the goal for the day and accomplished that goal. So that's the basic of my classroom layout and what a normal day would look like in my class. I'll be answering other questions as the series goes along. Best of luck to you, and I will be back with you soon.